It's a time to lament. I'm in the church building, and the last time we were here was on March the 16th. And since then, we've lamented the loss of being together. We've lamented the loss of worship as we know it, and we've lamented not being in the building. For other people, of course, that sense of lament has been greater and deeper because they've lost a loved one to COVID-19 and have not been able to be in the ward to care for their dying relative. Others have not been able to be at funerals of friends, and so their sense of lament is deeper and stronger. We've lamented not being able to hug our children or our grandchildren. For others, the sense of lament has been exactly the opposite because they've spent the last 12 weeks in the same space as their family, and there has been no escape, no private space during these 12 weeks. So what will life look like in the new normal, the better life that we promised will come after COVID-19? Surely we want to accentuate the positives and be rid of all the things that cause us to lament and mourn. Surely we only want to have what is good in life that is to come. And yet Jesus says to us that there's a place in his kingdom for those who lament, and that there is grace to meet us in our times of need. So what does he mean? Well, there's another cause for lament, and that's our loss of innocence. As human beings, we're capable of doing the most wonderful things of love and good deeds, and we've seen some of that in these last 14 weeks as people have cared for others, either in the NHS or in other ways. And so we've celebrated that sense of love and goodness. But we also know that human beings are capable of the most awful things, of anger and terror and abuse and violence and so on. And we mourn that loss of innocence. We lament what we are like in that way. And if we're honest with ourselves, we also see that in ourselves. We lament our own loss of innocence and the faults and mistakes that we have in the way that we live our lives. And so it's that sense of loss of innocence that we lament and that causes us to be concerned. So what are we to do? Well, we're to be realistic. It's okay not to be okay. To be honest with ourselves, to acknowledge that these faults and mistakes exist in our lives and that we need to deal with them. And that the free forgiveness of God for us comes through the seeming weakness and failure of Jesus on the cross. And for the other things that break our hearts and leave us to lament, God promises grace to us to help us and to meet us in our times of need. And Jesus says to us, there is a place for us, for those who lament, for those whose hearts are broken. There's a place for us in his kingdom.